So about Sky Striker taking down one of the biggest YCSs of the year, but you didn't see that one coming. I'll make the 30% of you guys and not smash the crap out of that subscribe and smash it so we can climb up the 100k ladder. We have deck list, and we have, I want to talk about the breakdown for this event, because a lot of you guys are like, oh my god, like, I can't believe Sky Striker won. Well, there's a lot of like ratios and things here that have shaped up out of this event that kind of have set the tone now as we move forward here. And I know a lot of you guys are like, oh, really? Well, yeah. So we were talking about Sword Soul and Despia kind of battling back and forth with each other to be that top dog competition contender here. Well, in terms of Top Cut representation, yeah, Sword Soul was one of the highest represented decks in Top Cut. There was nothing about that. But the thing was, the further we got into Top Cut, the more painfully clear it became how frail the already existing, issues with that deck actually are. And, Sword Soul has choke points. I just kind of think people forgot how to use them. Now, Punk is the thing where we kind of turn the tables a little bit on this. Punk has been gaining a little bit of steam as of late. And I mean, to be honest with you, you had how many Punk variants here? We had the Sun Avalon build, which, as far as to my knowledge, is not the Adventurer build, and that build did not top this time. But that does not mean that is not a build that can participate. That just means that we had 3 Adventurer, 2 Thurion, and then we had what appears to be the evolution of Based at this point in time, which is basically your synchro good stuff, where you just use your Punk engine to kind of climb up and dominate. And I'm actually happy to see that the TCG figured this out, considering the fact we left the Adventure engine so unchecked as we moved forward here through the upcoming format. Like, you know what? Kudos to you, Konami. You allowed an entirely new Based deck to kind of be born. And basically at this point in time, it's just synchro good stuff, effectively. So nothing really too crazy about that. Now, we also had 4 pure branded decks in Top Cut, which is a dramatic reduction from what we've really expected here. Now, the Predaplant build also kind of disappeared off the face of Top Cut here. But the interesting thing is, Predaplant prices are going up. It's actually kind of funny too, because Libromancer prices are going up, but they didn't top either. But the story for another day here. People look at these decks that have these high ceilings, and they want to start messing around with these different variants. And it's actually kind of what you're seeing here with Branded. Yes, even though pure Branded seems to be the more dominating deck at this point in time, players are still like, whoa, I saw like all my pro players out here trying this particular build. I want to go pick up these cards so I can have them to give them a shot. And I think that's a perfectly logical thing to want to do. I still personally think that when that build goes, it's crazy. But Super Poly just wrecks that build so hard. All right, you set up all of this giant field, and then, oh, it's gone by 1 Super Poly. We had 3 Thunder in Top Cut. Not really surprised about that. Now, what really surprised me here was Sky Striker. Now, 2 of these are basically Mystic Mine stall decks. Yeah, I know, boo. Abusing a card that's legal. Well, here's the other thing. You had an Adventurer Sky Striker deck also make its way into Top Cut, which, to be honest with you, after the loss of certain good cards, I didn't really think that we would explore the option of going back down there, but alright. Drytron actually kind of took me by storm this event as well. I'm not going to lie, I kind of discounted this deck very hard, but it would seem that the Ritual Toolbox has actually found a new way to do its job. So, you know what? I'll give it up. Kudos for you. Branded Eldritch also found its way into Top Cut. I mean, technically there was a combination of 6 branded decks, but 2 of which were Eldritch. Gotta love good old set decks. Adventure ABC made it into Top Cut, and this duelist made Adventure ABC look so good. Alright, like, if you can draw Union Hanger, that deck is pure gas. You combo so hard. You don't see Union Hanger, your deck's a pile of hot doo-doo. But you know what? It was good enough and consistent enough to make it in a Top Cut. We also had Dragon Link. Hey, you know what? 1 Dragon Link made it in. Alright. We had Adignister performing and doing well as well. Nobody should be really shocked to see that that did well either. And then DDD's Nuts actually made it into Top Cut as well. Which, once again, I'm not really surprised about that either, considering the fact that the OCG loved that deck, Heat Soul. Just kind of writing the general diversity of how the rest of the format is shaped up here. totally makes sense to me how that can do well. So there's your breakdown for this event. Really setting an interesting stage here. Now we're going to pass on over to those top deck lists. First place list here, most of you have kind of already seen some sort of combination of this list elsewhere, but Mystic Mine go burn me stall opponent. Oh no, opponent make play me demise of land him. Uh-oh. Basically, this is a Mystic Mine deck with a Sky Striker sub package in it, and I know a lot of players like, I mean, you kind of need it, all right? Like, in order to counteract the format, you had to build some sort of monstrosity to kind of counteract this. And I perfectly understand the logic in building this. So yes, it is Mystic Mine, slow down the game, and give Sky Striker the chance to do what they do best, to kind of slow down and counteract the game. Isn't it really funny that this card is basically the TCG's equivalent to Max C, things that you didn't want to put into your head for 500. But congratulations to first place here, pulling off an amazing finish and actually kind of making everybody go, oh, I hate it here. Welcome to Yu-Gi-Oh, ladies and gentlemen. Isn't it freaking amazing? All right, top 4 here was Justin Sin's interesting, and it's just, we're actually playing the Magic Key stuff now. That's actually hilarious. Yes, we are also playing the Magic Key unlocking. When your opponent activates a spell trap card while you control a Magic Key ritual monster or a normal or a Magic Key monster, special soul summons from the extra deck. Negate that activation if you destroy that card, then declare an attribute, and if you do for the rest of this turn, all face of monster opponent controls become that attribute. Nice little sub effect, but you have a walking, talking, negating it. And guess what? We got triple copies of Mystic Mine in here. Well, why would you be boarding in Spell and Trap Hate against Drytron? That's probably the better question you need to be asking yourself here in terms of deck building. It's not so much about drawing me out. It's if I see the Mystic Mine or if they Mystic Mine me, do I have the out present in the deck in terms of siding? You know, shout out to having the Twin Twisters down here, though. We can at least counter the out. All jokes aside, yeah, this actually looks like a very good list. I'm actually glad to see that this is how this deck has evolved. Next up here is our top 16 Tej Sword Soul list. So now I've become very, very adept in just going, all right, cool. So we're playing the one Synthana, which is fine. We're on the 2 copies of Heavenly Dragon Cycle and the 2 copies of Vessel of the Dragon Cycle. Very standard stuff here. DD Crow was actually a pretty big force this week. And like, I'm actually crazily surprised at how amazingly good that this card was for Sword Soul. I think it was we saw one game where like double DD Crow came up. Everybody's like, holy crap, like it's amazing. I'm also happy to see the Dark Ruler No More is back down here. You know, these decks do make some very scary boards down here, and having this is good. Also, shout out to Chalice here. If your opponent decides to roll out of Vanities against you, you're like, I've got the out already prepared for this. I mean, nothing says, uh-oh, and then just being able to kind of have a good counter on hand. That's what you like to see, right, ladies and gentlemen? So, not too bad there. It is time for Despia. Top 32 here, Luke Parks, Croissant Designators. I will say that seeing Crossout Designator in a majority, or a good chunk of these builds, actually is one of the reasons why I feel like that this deck can do the little grind game a whole lot easier. It's actually pretty scary when this deck gets hand trapped, because seeing how much like fragileness that this deck actually has going for it, yeah, you need these. You have to declare Ash Blossom at a lot of points in order to go out. And we don't even see we have one Ash Blossom in here, so you can cross it out so you're able to go. Same thing here, we have access to the DD Crow, so you can also cross it out. And then, of course, the one branded Lost, wrapping up this particular list. Yeah, I don't see anything else too crazy down here. A lot of these branded lists, like I said, you have some sort of combination of careers with allures, because this has become like the more powerhousing thing as of late here. And then our next branded list here, sporting off the triple super polys. This version is playing Screams. If a fusion monster was sent to your graveyard this turn, special summon one of your fusion monsters that is banished or in your graveyard. During the end phase of this card is sent there because it was banished, or to activate the effect of Fallen Valbaz this turn, you can send this card back to your field. Oh boy. That is actually really good. Alright, the standard 1 McCourier, triple Allure Darkness, 50 cards, double Croissant Designator, so we're not bulking down too hard. I guess we chose to go the route of like more Ash Blossoms built into the main deck here to kind of grind things out, which ends up working out, I think, overall in the long run here. Shout out to no Alba Lennetit. Shout out to only 1 copy of Lubellion. What? That is crazy to me. All right. That is your breakdown for this YCS so far that we have. What do you guys think? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you're saying. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button. So you guys know myself more on this content. I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.